Hello, my name is Dr. Salvatore Vinciguerra, and in this video I'm going to be discussing binary and ternary musical form. So when we talk about musical form, we're talking about the structure of a piece of music and how it's composed. There's a lot that goes into analyzing a piece of music than what you would see here in this video. And I would like to just say as a disclaimer that, I'm going to be speaking in very general terms so that my students understand the basic concept and idea of binary and ternary musical form. So when we define binary form, we're speaking about two parts, A and B. And it's important to understand that in doing this, that they are equal parts and that there's nothing shorter or longer than one another. So when we're really looking at this musical form, A is equal to the amount of music that's in B. The first musical example that I'm going to be using for binary form is Greensleeves. So after listening to Greensleeves, you can tell that it's in two pieces, just because it starts with one melody and then it ends with a different melody. So now let's take a look visually at the different pieces of Greensleeves and see if we can kind of see where there are two different sections here visually. Well, when we look at Greensleeves, you notice that it starts on G, it has this melody here, and then it ends on G over here. So that's kind of a clue that this maybe is one piece of Greensleeves. This other section here starts on the F, and, well, it kind of does come back to a G, but it is a lot different than the first part of the song if you really take a look at the melody carefully. So I'm going to take each part of Greensleeves and I'm going to play them for you separately so that you can hear it. So I'm going to play from the beginning all the way up to this G right here. And this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the first 8 measures of the piece of music, and this is what it sounds like. First 8 measures of the piece of music. Can it be divided even more up into different sections? Yes, and I'll show you that in just a few moments. Let's look at the second part of the piece of music. It starts on this F and goes all the way to the end. So I'll play that for you. I'm going to start right here. Ready? Here I go. So in actuality, they're basically two different melodies, but they go well together. And so this melody would be the first section, or the A section, from the beginning to this G, the first 8 measures. And then from the 9th measure all the way to the end, that's the second part. That would be the B part. So the top part would be A, and the bottom part would be the B section. And that's basically what binary form is. A and B. We can even go into Greensleeves further and look at the first 4 measures. Let me play them for you. I'm going from measure 1, which is here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is what it sounds like. notice I stop. I stop on this D right here. And the reason why I stop on this D here is because there's a pickup note. So this pickup note belongs with the next melody over here. This would be the first four measures or a piece or a phrase of the first part of the piece of music. So I'll play it for you one more time. Listen again. And then I'm going to continue from this G right here for another four measures and end right here. This would be the second phrase. And so about every four measures would be a phrase. This would be a phrase from measure 1 to measure 4, and then this would be a phrase from measure 4 or measure 5 into measure 8, and then measure 9, and another four measures, and again. So we basically have phrases are the little pieces of a big section, and then this big section, or the first part, the A part, would be called a period. So the first 8 measures of Greensleeves is basically period 1, and then this would be another period here. But they're different, and they go together well, and that's why basically that this is called binary form, because this is one separate section, and this is another separate section. They sound well together, but they're different. And it doesn't go, notice it's not a different type of form. It doesn't go back to any kind of melody at the beginning. It does something totally different. I'll play it for you one more time. So here's the first four measures. Second four measures. So here's the A part of Greensleeves. And here's the B part. And yes, I could break up this last period into different phrases. Here would be the first phrase of period 2. Played from here to here, the first four measures of period 2. Here's the last four measures of period B. Okay. So that is basically what binary form is. We have one period at the beginning that is basically A, and B at the end, which is a different period. They sound good together, but they're totally different melodies that go along with one another. Here's a different piece of music. This is Sonata Opus 1, number 7 by Georg Friedrich Handel. And you can see that there's a clear A section, and it does repeat itself. And then you do see the second part of this is a lot different than the first part, so that would be the B section. So again, to review, binary form is 2 different sections, an A section and then a B section. Now we're going to take a look at rounded binary form. This is Turkey in the Straw. It's an American folk song. It's out of Essential Technique, Book 3 for Band. This is the trumpet book, but I'm just showing you this as an example of rounded binary form. Basically, rounded binary form is having your A section, a B section, and then taking half of the A section and putting it at the end. The first 8 measures of Turkey in the Straw are basically the A section of the piece. This is what it sounds like. Okay. And then you have your B section. They stick the B section right here, the next 4 measures. And this is what it sounds like. Okay, and then the definition of a rounded binary is to take half of the A section, which is up here, and put it at the end. But then what they've done here is they've taken this melody here, they've brought it up an octave, altered it just a little bit, and then it is exactly the same as the last 2 measures there. So it's similar, but it is the same, and it is basically rounding out this binary form. So that's why it's called rounded binary form. Now I'm going to be demonstrating, this is the second half of A, which is then presented here at the end, and I'm just showing you the differences of what it sounds like and looks like. And you notice that in the second version here, how they've altered the melody for these 2 measures, but then kept most of it exactly the same. Here's what the second half of A would sound like. Here's how the A section comes back at the end of Turkey in the Straw. Here's another example of rounded binary form. I'm using O Susanna, which is another popular American folk song. You notice how we have this A section at the beginning, and then we have a B section, and then they're taking half of this A section and putting it at the end. So they're taking this half of A and placing it at the end of O Susanna. This is what O Susanna sounds like. So now let's break it up. Let me play the parts for you. This is the A section of O Susanna. This is just the top line, and it's just focusing on that one piece. This is what the A sounds like in O Susanna. This is the B section. Notice how different it is from the A section at the top. Here's the ending, which is half of the A section at the top. Now let's talk about ternary form. Ternary form is also known as ABA form. And you have an A section at the beginning, then you have this contrasting B section, and then the melody returns back to A with the same music that it had at the beginning of the piece. A great example of a piece of music that uses ternary form is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. The first 4 measures is the A section, so it sounds like this. The B section is in measure 5 through 8, and it contrasts the first section of music. So this is what the B section of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star sounds like. And then the A section comes back again at the end. It's exactly like it is at the beginning. So again, let's take another look at Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. You have the A section at the top, then you have the B contrasting section in the middle, and then you have the A at the bottom, returning the main melody back again at the end of the piece of music. This is the typical way that you may see a ternary form piece of music. Now let's take a look at this Rondo in C major by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. When first looking at this piece of music, you may just say, well, this is binary form. There's an A section and there's a B section. But look a little bit closer. At the end or the bottom of the page, you will see something called DC al fine. And DC al fine means del capo al fine in Italian. These are Italian terms. It means go back to the head or the beginning of the piece of music and stop at the fine. If we were to follow the directions that Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart wanted us to follow, then we would go back to the beginning of the piece of music, which is the A section again, and then stop at the fine, which is right before the B section. So, on first appearance, this may look like binary form, but in actuality, this is ternary form because there's an A section, there's a B contrasting section, and then you're going back and you're returning back to that A section exactly the way it was. So you may ask, are there other musical forms besides binary and ternary form? And there are a variety of musical forms that are found in musical compositions, but today we're just focusing on binary and ternary form. These are just the two basic ones that a beginning student may come across while they're looking at a piece of music. So this gives us some insight into not only playing a piece of music, but looking at it a little bit deeper and analyzing it for the context and structure of the musical composition. This is Dr. Salvatore Vinciguerra. Thank you for watching this video on musical form. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe to this channel, and have a great day. Thank you.